and phone in. And of course, in no time at all, the phone started ringing because he was talking to 2 million people.
Yeah.
And it only took one to pick up a watch, and the watch happened to start, or that the heat of the person's hand melted some oil which had congealed inside the watch or something of that sort. So anyway, these sorts of stories that people tell, kind of spooky ghost stories that they take to be miraculous. This is the kind of story that possibly gives rise to alleged miracles, like the miracle of Fatima, when the Virgin Mary is supposed to have appeared and make the sun move. Do you know about that miracle? It happened in about 1915 or so, I think. 17, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't look back. There were 3 Portuguese children, and one of them, the sort of ringleader, claimed that the Virgin Mary had visited them up on a certain hill many times, and she promised that she was going to come back and perform a miracle to demonstrate on this particular day. It's alleged that 70,000 people converged on this hill in Portugal, and the sun was supposed to have moved. The sun came crashing down towards the ground, and then it suddenly stopped crashing down and went back and went on shining as before. And you have to ask yourself, what really happened on that day in Fatima? One thing could be quite sure: the sun did not come crashing down. I mean, because the same sun shone not only on the little town of Fatima, but on the whole of that hemisphere. So it would have been seen elsewhere. If it had come crashing down, that would have meant that it fried the Earth, or else the Earth was spinning on its axis in a totally new way, and that would have been noticed and would have probably destroyed everything. So that didn't happen.
I mean, it would have. If the Earth suddenly stopped or changed motion, everyone would be thrown off.
Everyone would be thrown off.
Yeah.
So clearly that didn't happen. Was there a mass hallucination? Did everybody simultaneously suffer the same hallucination? Doesn't seem very likely, but it's at least more probable than the sun really did move. You've got to...
That's the key point, you know. When people talk about miracles, they talk about aliens coming down.
Yeah.
They talk about neutrinos traveling faster than light. And I've talked to journalists who said no matter how mundane or ridiculous the actual explanation may be, it's much more probable than what's being claimed.
Exactly. I mean, this was David Hume's criterion for a miracle. I mean, I think the most likely thing that happened is that 1 or 2 people. I mean, the girl told people to stare at the sun, which is a damn silly thing to do, by the way. And that possibly induced some hallucinations, but not many people would have had to have suffered a hallucination for wild rumors to have started spreading.
Exactly.
We are a species that loves spreading rumors. If we hear a story, we love embellishing it. We like to make the story get a bit better, and so that's probably what happened. I think the very idea of a miracle is actually incoherent. I mean, if you see something which appears to be miraculous, think back to what almost any of our modern devices. Think if you could show that to a medieval peasant and show what it can do, that would be a complete and utter miracle. A Boeing 747 suddenly landing